Miss Murder was driving down a dark, deserted highway, her long black wedding veil whipping in the wind. The moonlight glinted off of the side of her jet-black '69 Corvette convertible. The tires squealed as Melanie rounded a hairpin turn. She pushed the gas pedal to the floor and passed a sign that read, "Cemetery, 5 miles." Melanie had dark stains on her pale cheeks, where her dripping tears had mixed with her dark mascara and rolled down the ivory skin of her distraught face. 5 miles later, Melanie Murder turned onto a short gravel road. The rocks crackled under her tires as she eased up to the cemetery gates. The young woman walked up to the tall wrought iron gate and wrenched open the giant, spiked Gothic doors. They lurched open with an awful screech, and she drove through. On the other side was a dirt road. On both sides of the road were grassy fields littered with tombstones. The road made a massive spiral from above, and as Melanie continuously turned down the way, the gravestones thinned out, many plots instead marked by large rocks or wooden crosses. Soon she came to an area where undisturbed patches of grass lay. Small droplets of rain began to fall from the night sky. The full moon and starry night lit up the cemetery outside of the city. Miss Murder stopped the car and got out. She walked to the back of the car and opened the trunk. Inside were 2 large plastic trash bags. What was inside the bags was Violet Vane, her torso, arms, and head in one bag, and her hips, legs, and privates in the other. Melanie pulled a shovel out of her trunk and began to dig a hole. She thought how just last week she had told Claudia that she found out that her fiancé was cheating on her with Violet. Melanie thought of how it had been to chain her down and torture her. The scent of blood would never leave the floor of that room. Claudia had a striking tattoo. It was a collage of soft pink hearts, pastel yellow lightning bolts, and baby blue clouds. It somehow struck you with an effect like cotton candy. The tattoo covered most of her left arm. She had a Schofield .45 revolver, black with pearl-handled grips. In the very center of the grip, there is a broken heart, carved and painted red. She stood outside a door. With a swift kick, she smashed it off its hinges. Long splinters twirled through an empty void. Her long blonde hair swam through the air as she whipped her bloodthirsty pistol from her holster. The blast echoed an ear-shattering roar. The bullet meandered through the eye socket of a dark-haired man who was before called Darian. The inaudible squishy splitting sound of the slug tearing through Darian's gelatin eyeball was only heard by the flying bats outside. The bullet blew out the brains of Darian's head onto the wall behind. The thick blood and mass of his thinker dripped down the pale wall. The scattered drops, too small to drip, just hung, silently. Claudia Carnage put her gun away. She put a cigarette to her mouth and lit it. She blew out a cloud of smoke and, staring at the bloody scene, said, "Ew, gross."